What is going on, everybody? Groovy Stunts with you here with another how-to, and today we're going to be doing tight circles, and I will be training you and coaching you through tight circling and how you could help yourself and with my tips and tricks to accomplish that. Also, it's very important on the next clip that you pay attention to the physics that I explain with the toy model, so that way you guys get a better understanding on what's going on in a tight circle. So don't skip through that. Make sure you pay attention to that. All right, let's get this thing going.
All right, I figured I'd show you guys a little example with a small motorcycle toy object that could kind of help me explain to you guys to understand the physics on a tight circle instead of me going out there and just showing you off of my camera and stuff like that. I figured this could help. I'm gonna still show you guys, obviously, but this will help a lot to understand the physics of a tight circle. All right, so what's gonna happen is when you clutch up and you get an idle, the bike, and you're ready to start circling that tight one, what's gonna happen is the bike's pretty much wanting to do this. Just plop over onto the circle side that you're doing. Now, to counteract that, and by what I mean by physics is the bike is falling over, but when it's falling over and you're going into that dip, you're gonna give it that bloop of gas, which will spin the circle, or I'm sorry, the rear tire in and keep your front end in that position. So as you're staying in that circle, your bike is technically the whole time trying to fall over, but it can't because you're counteracting that with your rear by giving it some gas to make that continued circle. So that way it keeps the front end in a solid state. So therefore, the bike's just spinning in a circle on its own, falling over, but it's not, just due to the fact that that rear wheel is counteracting that fall. You're gonna wanna stay tall in these guys. If you're too low, what's gonna happen is the bike's gonna get into that recon kind of state. So you wanna be tall and get used to that tall feeling to get that dip. So I hope this helps with the little model, kind of give you that demonstration on what I mean by the physics in a tight circle. So keep that in mind. The bike's falling, you give it a bloop of gas to continue that circle. But you're gonna want a good lean for a tight circle. That's what's gonna give it that tightness, because it has to cut in. So that's what definitely gives it its tightness. Just to let you know, that little gas bloop I'm talking about when you're dipping, and what I mean by commit to the dip, you literally have to do that. You have to commit to the dip, because it's gonna be a mental blockage for you for a little bit. It could get frustrating, not gonna lie. Some people pick it up real quick and some people struggle with it. It just depends on the rider. But you will face that mental blockage.
You might be saying, hey, why did Groovy Stunts put a line of cones down? I'm gonna explain to you why. So what's gonna happen is, if you set up a line of cones like that, pretend there's a force field or a big ass wall behind it that if you're gonna hit if you don't cut that circle. This will help you on, you know, to get that feeling to cut that circle and kind of force you to get that dip that I'm talking about. So you're gonna come up to it, do a wheelie at it, and you're gonna try your hardest to dip that circle to your left or your right, whichever position you're natural at, and cut it before you pass that line of cones. This will help you on cutting the circle and getting that dip. I also want to mention to you guys that when you're doing a tight circle, you're going to want to catch idle, and then when you dip in, you let the idle do all the work for you. Don't fight the bike, don't fight the brake, be easy on the brake, kind of give it that feather touch to it, because you don't want your motor stalling, or you don't want to be going high siding and flopping off your bike and stuff. So make sure you be easy on brake and let the idle do all the work for you. And remember to keep the bike tall. That's what's going to give you your dip. So keep the bike tall, let the idle carry you, let it do all the work for you, and continue that circle. So I'm going to show you a few examples on me doing it, so that way you get an understanding of a physical look and guide to what I mean by this. All right, so your cone setup, you see right here, boom, we hit a wall. Pretend that motherfucking shit is a wall. So what you're gonna do is you don't have to start exactly so close to it to try to get that dip. You can start a little further away. I wouldn't recommend super far, but enough where you have some confidence where you know you'll turn by it. But you want to get that dip. Show you an example right now. Here's Thomas. He's practicing his tight circles right now. But anyways, get a distance about yay far. Clutch up, come up to it. Oh, there's the wall. I gotta turn. All right, let's try that again. We'll start about this far. Clutch up. See the cones? Avoid it. Stay tall. You'll feel that dip. Pretty much right now, this is one tip to practice to get the comfortability of the dip. You don't need to exactly try to get a full circle just yet. You could just try to use it to learn that dip. So let's try it one more time. So clutch up, catch idle, come to it. You can turn it sooner if you want, and get used to that lean feeling. I also can't stress enough that you should be rocking at least 30 PSI. You could do it lower, but there's gonna be more tire on the ground, and the circles are just not gonna feel right, and they're gonna kind of want to straighten themselves back up because there's a lot more tire grip in the ground. So I suggest you crank it up to 30 minimum, and if anything you feel better, go ahead, throw some more air on, a few more pounds, see how it feels. You could also use the cones to go around. So you go around it, you see the cones, you're like, I need to cut it, I need to cut it. And then try to keep that circle. I need to cut it, circle. Keep it right there. Let the idle do the work. Don't fight the brake. Don't fight the gas. Let the idle do the work. Now I want you to concentrate on when I clutch up and idle and how I get the bike to fall over. And that's a dip I'm speaking of. So I'm gonna do an example away from the cones here so you kind of see. Pay attention to my front end and how I keep it tall as well. So clutch up, hit idle, keep it tall. It's gonna try to fall. You just go with her. Keep that front end tall. Because what happens if you don't keep that front end tall, it's gonna start wanting to high side and get out of the circle. You don't want that. You want to keep that consistent flow. Right now I'm letting the idle carry me the whole time. See, for example. So remember, keep that idle going and consistent, and be feathering brake as you need it. Sometimes you have to give it a little gas, like for example, but I used my clutch on that one, had to recover. So pay attention to my front end. You see, it's tall. I'm not leaning into the circle either. I'm staying vertical with the bike. I'm just letting the bike fall over and letting my idle carry me. Clutch up, catch idle, slow her down till she wants to fall over, and then catch that dip. Like I'm saying, a lot of people struggle with the dip at first because they get nervous. You have every reason to, because it feels weird, and there will be times you'll get tossed off of your bike. I'm not gonna lie to you, but you guys know that it's part of our sport. I hope this video helped you guys understand on some tight circling, and you know, get out there and go do your thing, put in that work. It takes dedication. Circles, some people get it like that, some people takes a little longer, but don't lose focus of it. Just keep doing your thing, go out there, put in that work, do whatever you can to make it happen. Do not forget, commit to that dip. Remember that, commit to it. That was it for my 3-video series of how to circle. If you guys want to see anything else, in the comment section below, make sure to put something in what you want to see. I'm not too sure what I'm doing next. Maybe how to rolling burnout. I gotta switch my front tire out though before I do that, but that might be the next video. So stay tuned for any further new content. Thank you to the guys that subscribe, and thank you to any new subscribers. Please make sure to hit that notification button, so when I do upload my new videos, you guys get to see the content and get notified that it is out. Groovy Stunts out.
Oh fuck, piece of fucking shit.